Hey, good morning. So this is CKB. I'm on a daily chart. So I'm about to just do a quick little analysis on this chart. All right. So we can look over here and we notice that this was a key area of demand. Price broke out of this demand zone down here at the bottom. All right. Now, price has come back into the demand zone, which means that we can start doing accumulation all in this zone or below. Now, price did drop below the demand zone. So we definitely are in some great buying territory here. Now, let's do this. Let's take this off and let's now look at what we do have as far as with market structure. So we had this area right here that was key. All right, we had some sideways movement for accumulation, and then we finally broke, which suggested this is supply zone. So out of supply zone, what happened? Prices then push back up in here, and then the selling resumes. All right, come back down, push back up, selling resumes. So we have seen 3 times already that prices had a hard time of surviving in this area. It's continued to be a lot of selling pressure. Okay, now with that being said, we still possibly have some downside targets that we have to account for that possibly could be hit. Okay. All right, we're going to take it from here, swing high to swing low, bring it back up to right here. All right. So if this whole entire thing plays out, this is a target zone where we expect for CKB to possibly come and respect this zone. Okay. So what I would like to do is this, to take this area all the way down to here and create this box. This is where we fight. This is where we buy. This is where we accumulate. There's no if, ands, or but. Now, will I be throwing in all types of heavy positions up at these levels? No. Okay. You want to know why? Look at this. Some of you went probably all in right here, but then you missed out on this. Look how many days this is, y'all. Let me go and get my measurement tool. And let's measure from here to here. All right. This one. These are 66 bars, 66 days, 67 days. All right. 67 bars, guys. 67 days this has been in this zone. So when you think about that, you want to accumulate, right? So this is what May. We came in here May 11th. Of course, now it's June 16th. So in those 67 days or so, we've had time to accumulate. So why do people just come in and just throw everything in at that level where you can have little increments of buying levels? So even today, if you see this video, you can start doing small micro transactions within this zone. Now, if we come down here to these bottom zones or we come revisit these little areas here, then you probably could say, hey, let me throw in a little bit more for a better discount, right? So these are some key areas to keep in mind, right? Now, I did liquidate all of my position at this spike up level right here, right? And I did this because I did do a lot of buying here, okay? So I just took a lot of profit off tables. Now, I will be looking to get back in, scale back into my position. And yep, we'll play ball from there. But yeah, this is the area where we could play ball. This is where you could be your most aggressive. Now, I mean, like I said, if you threw everything in right there, like, it's all right in hindsight, I guess, because what we're expecting is years of growth, for this particular asset. Let's go up into 2023. Let's see if it allows us to go over a little more. All right, so it's 2023, which is next year. But what we want to see over time is we want to see price continue to move higher, you know, up to these levels, because we still have this extension to play with. And in order for this to go higher, it has to pull back drastically to get the momentum to push up. And if we can reach these levels of extension, which this is the more ideal one right here, that's over 4,336% gain on your money. So let's get out the calculator and see what that looks like. All right, so let's see what $500 will be like with 4,336% gain on your money. So you're looking at $21,680 if that were to occur. All right, so that's not bad. All right. So the goal would be to actually, like I said, accumulate as much as possible. So this is at 10 cent. So let's say you were able to get 1 million coins down there. And if it's at 10 cent, I'm sorry. Times 0.1. It's 100 grand. If those targets were hit, if you were still at a 1 million mark. Now, can CKB go to $1? A lot of people ask that. All right, so let's check this out. All right, so we're currently we got a total supply of 36 billion basically, and already 33.3 billion are in circulating supply. So that means it's out, it's circulating, it's being traded back and forth, bought and sold. Okay, now, or held in wallets. So let me correct that. So some of that could be held in wallets. Some people are buying and selling, etc. All right. So the market cap right now is at 138 million. Okay, and so we really want to see this market cap really get up into the billions. Okay, and let's take a look at Cardano because a lot of people compare it to Cardano or what it could possibly do. Based off market supply. The max supply. So Cardano was at max at 45 billion. They have 33 billion too in circulation, which is 75%. They have a total of 34. So we seen that Cardano at its all-time high went up to over $3 and change. And we're gonna look over here to your right of the screen, and you'll see the all-time high right here. Sorry, all-time high. Was $3.10. Okay, and then the all-time low was basically 1 cent, 0.017. So what we're looking at is CKB doing something similar. And to me, to be on the safe side, I would aim for $1.50. The first true major price swing at the $1.50 area. When you look at everything that CKB is doing, building the partnerships, working very hard, making a lot of deals on the back end, the vast majority of people do not know anything about CKB at all. And that is what we really want. We really want to invest in assets people don't know anything about. When I was able to invest in Cardano, The average person knew nothing about it. They only knew about Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, XRP, etc. And even when I first got into XRP, a lot of people was trashing XRP. It wasn't even think about it. And I got in at 0.006 of a cent and rode it all the way to $3 some change. Okay, it's a massive amount of growth, right? So Nervous Network is very good. You can check them out, go on their website, do a little bit more research on them, and see what they're doing. We need universal application, guys. We need interoperability. Some of you are watching this video on a laptop, desktop, iOS device, Android devices, tablets, smart TVs. Okay? That's interoperability, that these multiple applications can be accessed and interacted with through multiple devices, okay, and multiple networks. We're not all on the same phone carrier, such as Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, whatever, right? But we can call each other, we can text each other. Now some things a little different. Such as if I send you a picture, it may not, the clarity may not be as well, but guess what? They're all working on that too in the mobile industry. If I send a picture to someone from my iPhone to an Android, it's a lot better now. So what was the workaround? We just had maybe I had to inbox you on social media because social media was a natural medium where the clarity of the photo would show up better if I would just inbox you a picture instead of just sending it straight to your phone. But now they're getting better at that. Well, look, Nervous is really trying to find out how to connect blockchain to real world applications and do something called on chain and off chain. How can it communicate and how can we interact? Right now, there's a big, huge gap, and they're solving that problem. So the more you understand that, the more you see, okay, hey, this is something I really need to keep my eye on. Don't get caught up because if you thought that CKB was valuable at this level, why not at this level? Nothing changed about CKB. The only thing changing here is just supply and demand for whatever reason, whether it's bad economy, whether it's people taking profit, whether it's whatever. This just means that we're in a baby market. There's just not enough participants at the moment. But once regulation starts kicking in, and then you got people who call big money stabilizes all economies, all markets, should I say. What does that mean? Well, if if all the institutions, or let's say 20% of the institutions that are the big dogs, stop buying and selling, you won't have a market. You're gonna have it outrageous spikes and all of it's gonna be wild. So market makers actually stabilize markets. They keep them within range. And when they want something, they can move the market aggressive in one direction. But just because they move the market in one direction, doesn't mean that they are capitalizing on every single thing. On their balance sheet, it could show that they have a valuation of $5 billion since the market's moved up. But that doesn't mean that they have $5 billion worth of selling that they can occur. You get what I'm saying? It just looks like that on paper, but if I got $5 billion and I want to sell, that means that somebody has to buy $5 billion worth. And you that's watching this video do not have the power, and none of us collectively even have the power to do that because we're not coordinated. So that's where the GameStop situation happened. It was able to do what? Short squeeze those other positions because they coordinated. And they try to make it illegal now to do something like that, but that's exactly what they do. They look at your order books and say, okay, all the retailer traders are here. This is what they think they're going to do. And so we're going to do this. And then we're going to take their money. Well, we reversed it. So just think how powerful you guys would be if we all did coordinate our buying. So down here at CKB right now, imagine every trader that we know we say, hey guy, hey, come down here, buy. Everybody today, just buy as much as you can. Of course you see some. But the question is, if we're doing all this buying and it does spike up, how many of us will actually benefit from the selling? Because that means that something has to come into the market to buy from us if we're selling. You see what happened to SHIB, right? And all the Dogecoin, all the rest of them. People call these pump and dumps. It's not really pump and dumps. It's just imbalances of supply and demand. And as a retail trader, you will do way better of understanding that. It's the big people who can't come off. So when you see that a price has blasted out of this area, this is a demand area. Look at this. Matter of fact, look at this spike up and then this crash down. What is this? Almost 90% drop. Only to come and do what? To go 1,700% basically. Look at everybody who complained and got out and just ran. What changed about SHIB? Nothing. Nothing fundamentally. Like whatever they set out they're going to do, that's what they're working on. They're doing. This is just nothing but pure emotions and traders going back and forth. And if you understand that, wait a minute, I am accumulating a really great asset. Now, the situation with Voyage is they're fundamentally flawed. Why? Because you put too much at risk of someone else's money that's used as collateral or tokens as collateral to what? To lend out to someone else who over leveraged and now they cannot they can't fulfill their promise. They're defaulted. So there's really nothing you can do about that. But that's a flaw. Voyager has a fundamental flaw. There's something that has to be changed with that. So that's why I'm no longer holding Voyager. I'm out. Okay. I don't like that. Okay. So when you start understanding that stuff, but it's a lot of these projects, there's nothing fundamentally flawed about them. They're doing what they're supposed to. Look at hacking. Hacking's doing a wonderful job of what they're doing, right? They're really doing real audits and all that other stuff. VChain, they really working with companies. So if that's the case, guys gotta stop looking at just price. That's not an indication. GameStop broke records, but it was a dying company, which means that the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. It's the market's gonna be irrational long, but you cannot compete with that. It's gonna do things that you like. It's not supposed to be doing that. Well, it did. It did. People look at the crypto. Well, man, with all the good news, all the sponsorships, naming arenas, blah 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 blah. It shouldn't be dropping. Why is it dropping? Because that ain't it. That's not it. That's not what makes the markets truly go. There still is something called smart money. They do not have the liquidity yet. So this is why we continue to have imbalances of supply and demand. Short moves up, short moves down. Just because this moves up doesn't mean that they're making trillions, billions of dollars. They're going to make some money, but they're making it in increments as it comes down. Because what happens when it comes down? You say stuff like this. Oh, this all right, this is a little too expensive. I got in though. Oh, this is a great price. And then somebody on the sideline, oh, it's cheaper than what it was before. So let me get in right here. And then as you come in and you're doing all these little micro buying, thinking that you're getting in at some great levels, they're selling off to you. So what is the best thing for you to do is say, wait, how about I just load when they're loading and then let me sell when they're selling? But the retailer say, well, why you can't just sell everything right now? Well, first of all, how and most people aren't technical sound, so it's not like they're looking at charts and they know. So you tell me on this chart when you supposed to be taking all your profits, because in reality you could have did that. That's it. You done. You out. Why? Because look at this. That's a 533% gain. Do you know it's stocks out here that it's taken 20 years for them to grow 500%, and you just did this in roughly 10, 15 days? You tell me when are you gonna get out? Or is that it? Let's say you got everything out. You're happy. You're good. Look what happens next. You see what's happening? So what are we doing? Now we're back in some key zones, but you don't know technicals at this point. So you don't know none of this. What is this? It was sideways and it broke out. So this is a demand zone. So what should be happening in this area? It should be buying, but the average person don't know that. So look what happens. They don't know that. So this person right here who sold everything gets upset because they'll look at this and they'll say, "Oh my God, I could have been up 1,700%." That's what they're gonna think. I could have been up 1,700%. What was I thinking? And guess what happens? They sold here and they get trapped. They come in and they say, "Forget it. I'm going back in." They're chasing, and then now they're kicking themselves in the back, and they think the market is rigged. They're playing with me, not playing with you. Just imbalance of supply and demand. And as accumulation was happening here, it broke below and it hit this one. So guess what? This demand zone turned into supply zone because it broke. Now this is a demand zone. Why? Because this is where it broke out. So this one was one, but it failed to live up. So it became a supply zone. And the person who just got back in, see how this get dragged down. All right. So as they get dragged down, instead of them selling or rebuying back, now they done sold everything at this one. It's like, I'm done. I'm out. This is a scam. It's over. All this 500% that I made on my money, I just gave it all back. I lost it. I'm done. Because if you bought from right here, you just lost 90% of your money. And typically, when a person goes back in, they go back in heavier than what they did the first time because you're coming off a high. It feels good. I made all this money. I'm good now. This is easy. That's what they'll say. And look what happened. Because you understand supply and demand and other key levels. This denotes that big players started a big, huge selling. Why? Because they pushed the market too high, too fast. Okay. And they need to start taking off some profits off the table. And all their sell orders are starting to push it down because you do not have enough to keep the market going higher. The goal of every market is to take it as high as possible and then sell over time. Bitcoin, its entire existence is based off of this. Look at all this flat area. All of this is people being able to find the liquidity. The liquidity to get out. Get out based off of what? All of this back here. These positions are being taken off. Okay? You got to find the right. You got to, for every buyer, there has to be a seller. It's a 1-for-1. And when there's too many people who hitting the sell button or trying to sell, and there's not enough buyers, price drops. When there's too many people wanting to buy, but there's not enough people who are willing to sell, price goes up. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Remember, supply and demand. Whenever price moves aggressively in one direction, whether up or down, that means that there was an imbalance. One of them was an imbalance. It's either too much of a supply and not enough demand, or it's too much demand and not enough supply. Simple as that. Have a great one. Hit the like button, subscribe. Y'all enjoy your weekend.